channel. Welcome to my new kitchen. If you watched my channel before, you know the surroundings are different. Welcome to my new home. I'm Mrs. D and I simply love to bake. I want to say thank you to all my new subscribers. For the several months that I have been off, I've still been gaining followers, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel, for liking and commenting. And, you know, I found out when I was in these streets that some of you all have been trying some of the recipes. Listen, if you've tried any of the recipes that you've seen on my channel, what I would like you to do is, now in order to comment, you have to be signed in to your YouTube account. So sign into your YouTube account and comment. I need feedback, guys. I'm not saying that I thrive on feedback, but I just want to know, what are your experiences with what you've learned on Mrs. D's Baking TV? Here's some of the gadgets that we're going to use today in this recipe. I'm using this food processor along with a blender attachment. You'll need a saucepan with a sieve in order to strain your jam. You're going to need some cling wrap. Now, beforehand, I cut out my little, I'm going to call these my little cheat sheets. I cut out these 3.5 by 4.5 little cards so that all of my pastry pieces are the same size. Of course, you're going to need a mixing bowl. You'll need, I'm using this mat here in order to roll my dough out. You'll need a rubber scraper. You'll need a whisk, a spoon for mixing. You'll need 2 pans in order to bake your tarts. You'll need a bowl for mixing. And I'm thinking about using this little gadget, this little pie gadget to seal my edges that my son and daughter-in-law got me for Christmas. I may or may not use this pastry cutter. I'm not sure, but it's better to have it not needed than needed not have it. And a pastry brush. You'll also need something in order to score or dot the top of your pastry before you bake it. So those are some of the gadgets that you need. You may see me pick up some extra gadgets along the way that I didn't mention, but basically these are the things you're going to need. And I'm going to use this mat in order to measure my dough, because it should be 14 by 14. So it's got these little measurements on it. So I'm going to use that also as my little cheat sheet. The ingredients that you'll need for this recipe, I always, if you watched my channel before, you know that I love using all-purpose unbleached flour. So you'll need, and I'm doubling this recipe. That's why you see so much flour in this container. So you'll need all-purpose unbleached flour. You'll need salt, sugar. You'll need butter. You'll need cold water, lemon juice, eggs, honey, strawberries, milk, powdered sugar. And I love changing up recipes. If you've watched my channel before, you know I like customizing. So I'm going to use my powdered Nielsen Massey vanilla. Now I need to go ahead and use this up because the expiration date on this is 2025. So yeah, I'd like to make sure that in my spice drawer, I put the things that I need to use first ahead so that I can make sure that I use them up in before they expire. In today's video, I am going to show you how to make Pop-Tarts. I know you're saying, Mrs. D, really Pop-Tarts? There are a million recipes out there on the internet. People have already done that, but I haven't done it. So Pop-Tarts, when my kids were growing up, the strawberry Pop-Tarts were my favorite. And they were my kids' favorite too. Or one or two of them might say that another flavor was their favorite, but I always bought the strawberry because those were my favorite. So today I am going to show you how to make strawberry Pop-Tarts. Now, this recipe that I'm following, it's not mine. It's not mine. I got it off the internet. I think the author of this recipe, I think her name is Lexi, and I'm going to list that in the description box. I do realize after talking to some of my subscribers that you're watching this on television and you're like, description box, what are you talking about, Mrs. D? Well, if you're watching this on TV, you can't see the description box, but if you go to this video on your phone, then you can see the description box. So I'll link the original recipe in the description box, which is right below the video. So let's get started in making the pastry, because the pastry has to refrigerate for 2 hours. To the food processor, we are going to add our flour, salt, sugar, and butter, and cold water, and we're going to pulse that until our butter looks like little pea pieces, okay? I think that's good. And see what that's looking like? And see, you press it, it's coming together. So that's good. That's what you want your pie dough to look. I keep saying pie dough. That's what you want your dough to look like. So now we're going to take our dough and we're going to refrigerate it for up to 2 hours. We're going to wrap it in this cling wrap. We're going to press it into a ball. And if you have some flour that didn't get mixed in, just keep pressing. See how we've got some flour? Just keep pressing it together. It'll all come together. If you have some left over, I don't think that's the end of the world. We're going to press this into a ball. And like I said, I'm going to refrigerate this dough for 2 hours. While keep wanting to say pie dough, pastry dough. The reason I want to keep saying pie dough is because we can use that as a pie dough. That's the same recipe that you use for your average pie. So while our dough is chilling in the refrigerator, I'm going to go ahead and put together the strawberry jam. We're going to add our strawberries, lemon juice, and honey. Now, I don't know if you could see this, but my honey is totally crystallized. Guys, honey never spoils. And I'm going to measure my honey right into this container. Once again, you know I love using my scale. And instead of trying to measure out 4 tablespoons or 5 tablespoons of honey, I'm simply going to measure it out in grams right into my container. Our recipe calls for 4 tablespoons of honey, which is approximately 84, 85 grams. So let's go ahead and measure that right in. I see some of my honey is sticking to the side of my blender, so I'm going to scrape down my blender to make sure all that delicious honey is added in. And guys, if you watched my channel before, I know you get tired of me saying that, but I love to visit my local farmers market. So this particular honey that I'm using today is from Chenier Farms in Opelousas, Louisiana. Mr. John and Miss Betty. All right, let's continue to blend this just a little more, and then we're going to strain it. And now we're going to strain it into our pot, and we're going to cook this over, I think, medium to low heat for about 20 to 25 minutes, or until when we scrape the bottom of the pot, the jam separates but slowly comes back together. Okay, our jam has been cooking for about 25 minutes. Okay. It's still a little loose. I was thinking about maybe adding some cornstarch just to thicken this up a little bit. I think that's what I'm going to do. Maybe. Because this is still a little loose. Remember, we don't want this too loose. I'll let it cook for approximately maybe about 10 minutes more, and then I'll decide whether or not I will add some type of thickening agent like cornstarch. So let's let this cook just a little more, and then we'll place it in the refrigerator. So I did a little research, and I found I can add cornstarch to thicken up my jam, or, believe it or not, chia seeds. I'm going to add a little bit of chia seeds as a thickening agent. And why not? It's good fiber and omega-3s. That's about half a teaspoon. You know me, I'm Mrs. D, and I love changing up recipes. And now let's place our jam in the refrigerator so that it can firm up a little more. Okay, our pastry dough has been in the refrigerator for exactly 2 hours. So some of the gadgets that I forgot to tell you that you're going to need a rolling pin, and you're going to need a pizza cutter. Now, before I started this recipe, I cut out these little squares. The recipe says that you need to measure your pastry dough. I think it's 3.5 by 4.5. I forgot the actual measurements. I'll list them. But I cut these out ahead of time so that I could just, cut it and it could be perfect. So let's go ahead and flour our French rolling pin. We're going to roll out our pastry dough 14 by 14 with 1/8 inch thickness. Now, I can't tell you exactly how thick that is, but it's pretty thin. You'll probably be able to see, like I'm using this pastry mat, you'll be able to see the words a little clear, because I don't want the Pop-Tarts to rise. I don't want them to be too fat and then to be too doughy and you won't be able to, I want there to be a balance between the pastry and the filling. So I don't want my pastry to rise up too fast. So let's go ahead and roll this out. This is a workout. Let's take out some aggression. I was thinking of a line from The Color Purple. All my life I had to fight. I have not. The Lord fights my battles. And don't be too concerned if your dough looks a little shaggy like mine does. It'll all come together. It will. Okay, that looks approximately 14 by 14. Maybe a little bit short here. But as far as the thickness is concerned, I think it's thin enough. So I'll go ahead and start cutting out my squares, and I'll reuse whatever dough I have left over. So I'm glad I got my little cheat sheets. I'll place those on the dough, cut these out, and then I'm going to refrigerate this dough for a little while so that it can firm up just a little bit, because working with our dough, of course, it warmed up a little bit and we want to see those nice flaky layers. So we're going to chill our dough just a little bit more. So I've gotten all of my pastry cut out. Some are a little thicker than others. This is my first time doing this recipe. I know I could have been more precise, but you know what? Baking, you don't have to be perfect, okay? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put these in the refrigerator so that our Pop-Tart pastry dough can chill a little. In about 3 hours, no, I'm just joking. Not 3 hours. Stay tuned, you'll see what's coming up next. Let's go ahead and get these put in the refrigerator. I love that sound. That's letting me know that my oven is done preheating. Now it's time to assemble. Guys, I want to apologize for the lighting. I know that's this beautiful bright window behind me. I'm hoping that you can see me. I'm hoping you can see me. Anyway, let's get started. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 pastry. And of course, we're going to place one on top of the other. So we'll end up with 4 little pastry Pop-Tarts. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take our jam, which is now very firm. Look at that. Look at how firm that is. Guess I should turn to this camera. See how firm that is? And we're going to add about, not even a whole tablespoon to our pastry at the bottom. And then we are going to liberally brush on some beaten egg, top the pastries, and we're going to use this little skewer in order to score the top, and we're going to place these in the oven, and we will have delicious pastries after we let them cool in no time. So I'm going to place these in my preheated oven to bake for 20 to 25 minutes until they're golden brown. And of course, I've got my thermometer to make sure that my oven is exactly 300 degrees. Okay, it's been 30 minutes. I think I said 20 minutes earlier, but it's been 30 minutes. Let's see. Looks like they're done. Oh my goodness, they are beautiful. They are done. They are beautiful. Looky, looky, looky. I made Pop-Tarts. Oh my goodness. I'm glad that I put the egg wash on top because it gave it a golden brown color. Yeah, I'll do better. They could be prettier, but this is good. This is good. Now these need to cool. These need to cool completely before we add our glaze on top. So let's transfer these. Oh, let's see what the bottom is looking like. Oh yeah, golden brown. Golden brown. Oh my goodness. These look absolutely beautiful. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we're gonna let these cool. And then while I'm glazing these, I'll tell you how I was encouraged to come back to YouTube. So let's let these cool. I'm not even gonna measure it. I'm just gonna add it. It's about a half a teaspoon. And we'll taste it and see what we're working with. We'll add our milk, and I'm not going to add all of the milk because we want to make sure the consistency is correct before we add all of the milk. The only thing that I don't have is sprinkles to add to the top of this. Now, while I'm mixing this, I'm going to tell you guys how I came back to YouTube. So, you know how God will place somebody in your life that you didn't even know you needed? Well, recently, someone very special to me now asked for my advice because they wanted to start their own YouTube channel. And so she came by my house and we ended up spending almost like 5 hours together. And she encouraged me so much so that she had me to sign a contract, guys, so that I wouldn't change my mind about coming back to YouTube. Now, that's what I call pouring into somebody, okay? I mean, she didn't have to do it. And I'm so glad she did because I love to bake. I do. But I was allowing the cares of this life to overwhelm me and to take me away from something that I really love to do. So there we go. Got our glaze done. And I need to taste this because I added the vanilla. So I need to see what we're working with. Still tastes like confectionery sugar or powdered sugar. Confectioners, powdered sugar. Let's add a little more vanilla. And what I like about this this vanilla powder is it doesn't change the color of your mixture. Vanilla extract, of course, it's brown and it would have changed the color of our glaze. And I didn't want that to happen. So let's mix this a little bit more. Actually, it is a little tinted just a little bit, but not as dark as it would have been if had we used the extract. All right, see what we're working with. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's a whole lot better. Okay. And you know what else would probably bring out or balance out the sweetness is a pinch of salt. I'm going to add a pinch of salt. The recipe does not call for this, but if you've watched my channel before, you know that I love customizing recipes. There we go. Just a little bit. That'll balance out the sweet and salt, the sweetness. Okay. All righty. Now let's add our glaze and then we're done. Guys, and you know what time it is after that, right? I'm gonna let you say it. Right, right. As if I could hear you. Okay, and after we do our taste test, then I'm gonna take a moment and tell you what I would do differently with this recipe. All right, there we go. Look at our Pop-Tart, guys. Look at that. Mrs. D has made a Pop-Tart. And let me let you see the bottom. See that? Nice and brown. You know what time it is. Let's say it all together, guys. For all my people who've been here since the beginning. Taste test time. All righty. So I'm going to cut it in half so we can see the jam in the middle. All righty. Oh, let's put that down. Break it apart. Oh, I don't see a lot of jam. I don't. See that little bit of jam? See that? All right, let's taste it. See what we're working with. Mmm, mmm. Oh my goodness. That's good. Mmm, mmm, mmm. Oh, look how flaky. Mmm. How flaky the pie crust is. Pie crust. Pastry crust. Mmm, mmm, mmm. Guys. Oh, okay. That's good. Now let's talk about what I would do differently. If I were to do this recipe again ahead of time, I would make the jam because this recipe actually the um the person who created this recipe, excuse me, said that it would take 5 hours. She was telling the truth because your crust has to firm up in the refrigerator for 2 hours. Then you got to make the jam. Then the jam has got to cool. If you're thinking about doing this recipe, make your jam a couple of days ahead, make your pastry ahead. You can even freeze the pastry so that you're not overwhelmed all at one time trying to create these Pop Tarts when of course, you can go to the store and buy some. The difference between these Pop Tarts and the ones that you get in the store is you know all of the ingredients that are in the Pop Tart. You can pronounce all of the ingredients inside this Pop Tart. I hate to keep saying Pop Tart because that's what they call it. What's inside this pastry? Now, also, what I want to do is I want to see if I'm able to put it in the toaster and it heat up and the frosting, the glaze not fall off. But that's a video for another day. Guys, thank you so much for joining me on my channel. I'm so glad to be back. I don't know yet how often I will release a video, but hey, let's just celebrate this one. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so that you are made aware when I upload a video. And most of all, bake with your family. Be blessed. Bye.